And if you are the LA Lakers, how about this story breaking overnight from Dave with lots of ends? Is it any surprise the Lakers lose last night? Jamal Murray hits another game-winning shot. Lakers were as frustrated as you can be.
Yeah.
And I think justifiably so. They played their ass off and they still got beat. And I'll continue to say this goes back to you won a championship in the bubble, and then you let guys like Kuzma go, and you let KCP go, and you let Caruso go, and you just didn't have the horses to compete. And so now you rely on guys like D'Angelo, and you rely on guys who, frankly, Jared Vanderbilt, who just can't stay healthy and contribute. I think the Lakers did this to themselves.
Yeah, I mean, the issue in this series for the Lakers is depth, no question about it.
Yes,
and I think that the starting five is good enough, but you got to have something behind your starting five, and if you don't have anything behind it, you're just not going to beat teams like Denver in their building. And so it winds up being this thing where, Jamal hits another game-winning shot and everyone's like, oh, well, it's Jamal. It's Jamal. Well, no, it's not Jamal. Yeah, he hit the shot, but the reason you were in that position is because you're not productive in the non-LeBron minutes. At some point, LeBron's got to sit. He can't play 48 minutes every single night. You can't play, the entire game, every single minute of every game. So I don't know. Everyone's going to scapegoat Darvin Ham. Everyone's going to, blame this guy or that guy. But the reality is the roster's not built the right way. And this has been the Lakers conundrum for years now. How aggressively can we play the salary cap, luxury tax game, while also, trying to contend? And it got him this year. It did. It absolutely did.
Well, I also think there's a lot to consider around who your head coach is. I think Darvin Ham is not a championship caliber coach. He's unproven. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And when you rely on a guy like Darvin Ham to lead a bunch of ragtag guys that are surrounding LeBron and Anthony Davis, because we could sit here and we could joke about Anthony Street Clothes Davis. The guy played 76 games. The guy's an MVP candidate. He is a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. I mean, the guy in Anthony Davis was their best player this year, but LeBron was right there with him. And we can sit here and we could talk about, hey, is LeBron going to retire? Or LeBron's not retiring, in my opinion. But you have to go and get an experienced head coach. I look at this very much like I look at the Phoenix Suns situation. You have to go and find a guy who knows how to handle big personalities. Those guys don't grow on trees, my friends. Those are very difficult coaches to find. It's why Doc Rivers continues to have a job, right? Because he is an experienced guy who's won. It's guys like Mike D'Antoni who haven't gotten another shot that I think probably get a shot this cycle. It's why we took guys like Rick Carlisle in Dallas so for granted.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that we take for granted in this league, and we continue to take risks on guys that are career assistant coaches, the Jacques Vaughns of the world, and they oversee disasters, and they wind up getting fired. Darvin Ham was a nice little pickup, I guess. He was not an NBA caliber head coach, and certainly not a guy that was going to navigate the minefields of Los Angeles with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And I think the other issue that we've got to clearly talk about is, and we had this in our members only chat last night, talking about what is the formula to win in the NBA. Are we seeing, I think Brandon Butler asked if we're seeing the end of super teams. We're not seeing the end of super teams. You've got to have the same formula that has always been the formula and is currently the formula. You have to grow your stars. You have to home grow your stars. I don't know, like Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, but how important is Gordon? How important is KCP? How important are the role players in Denver to the guys that you brought up? How important were the role players like Kevin Durant to Steph, Clay, and Dre? If you look at Michael Pippen and Horace Grant, for instance, you bring in Steve Kerrs, you bring in Judd Bushler's, both of whom hit big shots. It goes on and on and on. Kobe, you don't have Kobe and Shaq unless you draft Kobe and you trade for Shaq. You've got to have homegrown stars in this league with coaches who know how to handle those personalities. You also have to spend your money smartly. And if you're the Lakers, you have Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Who's your homegrown guy? You don't have a homegrown star. If you're the Phoenix Suns, at least you have Devin Booker, who's your guy. But what's the biggest issue in Phoenix? You've got $150 million plus committed to 3 guys, and they're not a natural fit. It's a mistake. You can no longer go out and believe that you can buy a championship. You have to, in my opinion, in this league, you have to draft well, and you have to have, in my opinion, smart money spent. The Lakers and the Suns do not. Denver does.
Yeah, no question about it. And I think the Lakers, again, are that franchise that is always looking to spend money and just kind of put themselves in the best spot they can through free agency and trades instead of the draft. And I think this is the price you pay. And, I think everyone wants to obsess over LeBron's future and Bronny and like what's going to happen. And the reality is the Lakers should be focused on the rest of the roster. LeBron, I think, will be there. They just need to figure out how the money's going to work with that. But they need to look at the rest of the roster. And really, if you're going to get rid of Darvin Ham, you need to figure out who the head coach is going to be and what they think of the roster you have, because, we never saw, the young guys at the end of the bench this year, really. I mean, you did see Max Christie for a few games here and there, and I'm not saying he should get major minutes, but when you got a roster full of guys who, you got to be careful with the workload. Like, I would have expected Max Christie to get at least some minutes, at least come off the bench, get in some foul trouble, cause some trouble in the game. Like, that's how you can use young guys in the postseason, and that's where I think when you talk about beating teams like Denver, that's how you have to go about beating these teams. And I feel like basketball guys who do it for a living get lost on that fact. Like, what would happen if you brought Max Christie in and tasked him with, hey, like, just play physical with Jamal Murray, like, just get in his jersey a little bit. We're looking to frustrate him a little bit. We're looking to kind of, get in his head a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, just use your expendable guys, use their fouls more. Like, that doesn't happen in the league enough. And so when I look at the Lakers roster, I bring that up because that's your best play with the roster you have. I mean, you've got LeBron, AD, you've got Reeves, you've got D'Lo, like, you've got your contributors, but you're not using the rest of the squad for what they could do, even if it's in a little bit different of a way. And that's where I think you got to find the right head coach to utilize that opportunity.
Yeah, I think I would be on Mike Budenholzer. The guy's got 5 championships. One is a head coach. He's at the right age. He's 54. I think that's where I would be going. I mean, Phil Handy, who's an assistant on that Laker bench, I think a lot of people get excited about him. I don't think you can take a risk in Kenny Atkinson at this point, and I think he is a risk because he's unproven. I think if you are the Lakers, it is Mike Budenholzer or Terry Stotts. I think that's it, because those are the 2 guys that are experienced. Those are the 2 guys who can handle the dynamics that you have at play there. And I think you've got to run it back with LeBron and Anthony Davis. I don't think that you can trade Austin Reeves. I think he's shown you that the development's been too good. The real question is, are you good enough with D'Angelo Russell on the floor? Are you a championship team with D'Angelo Russell on the floor?
Well, I mean, it begs the question based on the scheme they run and the offense they run. It does make me wonder, hey, if you had a different coach in there who looked at the roster differently, looked at the offense a little bit differently, what could you accomplish? What could you get out of this roster? Because that's a conundrum in like LA and Phoenix, like these teams that have spent loads of money on their stars. Like, the question is not, hey, can we trade everybody and reset? No, you're not going to do that. That's not possible. You need to find a guy to come in and maximize what you have laid down already. And so I don't know. I don't know if D'Angelo Russell is a championship caliber player. I do know that he doesn't show up enough in the playoffs. There are far too many 0 for 6s, 0 for 8s, turning it over.
He's a streaky player. There's no doubt.
Yeah. So I also think that the Lakers do much better when they've got a defined point guard bringing the ball up and getting them into their offense.
And he is that. And he is that. I think there's no doubt that D'Angelo Russell is that. I think this is going to be one of the most transformative summers we've seen in some time.
Yeah.
in the Western Conference, because you just have too many questions in Golden State. You have too many questions in Phoenix, too many questions with the Lakers. And I don't know where you go from here. If you are the LA Lakers, is Rob Pelinka the guy you want to rebuild that roster? I'm not sold on that. Not with Bob Myers sitting out there. I'm not sold on that. I mean, don't you have to go and look at every position in that front office? That's what championship caliber teams do.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other question is Jeannie Buss and her group, are they championship caliber owners? I think they certainly have empowered their basketball people to basketball, and they haven't done it well. I don't know. I don't know what you do in Phoenix and LA, because there's no easy way out. If you are the Lakers and the Suns, I think you stand pat. Because I don't think, and just talking to some basketball people yesterday, like Bradley Beal has very little trade value because of the money he's owed.
Yeah.
And I think most people believe that they would not trade Kevin Durant or Devin Booker. They just would not. And those guys always have, because of their, like, you're not trading Kevin Durant. Everybody makes a big deal about, how Bradley Beal has a no trade. And everybody, do you think Kevin Durant's got a no trade? Kevin Durant's going to go where he wants to go.
Yeah.
You're not sending him anywhere. He's going to go where he wants to go. And I think that's the hard part about the NBA right now, is it's a players' league. It's not an owners' league. So if you're the Suns and the Lakers, I think you have to tweak. You don't have to reformat.
Yeah, and I think, again, you have to find a way to get these teams to play the way they need to, right? Like more systematic, targeted, strategic offense. Like so often in the league, like I'm telling you guys, like it is far too often that offenses just go, hey, set the pick, drive the paint, kick the ball. Like we see that way too much. So teams are figuring out how to defend that. And it's like, hey, you got to actually like run an offense to get your guy the open look. Like that's where, like when during the tournament, that's why UConn had so much success, because Hurley had them run an offense that got their dudes high percentage look after high percentage look that was essentially uncontested. And that's what today's NBA for these teams needs to turn into. If Kevin Durant or Devin Booker are shooting at the elbow, you're going to be in a great spot. But they weren't doing that for most of the series.
Yeah. And I would remind you that the 2025 offseason is when the Lakers gain flexibility. I mean, you have 7 guys, including LeBron, Anthony Davis, and D'Lo, that are all free agents. LeBron and D'Lo are on player options this year. Can't believe D'Lo, opts out of $18 million with the Lakers.
Yeah,
that'd be surprising. Anthony Davis is at 43.2. LeBron's at 51.4. And I continue to insist, and I know that people always get crazy when I say it, he's still arguably the best player in the NBA. I mean, LeBron James is still producing at a very high level. You cannot look at what he did this season and this postseason in particular and think that he's done.
Yeah.
Unless he wants to be done, which I just don't buy that. I think LeBron is very smart and wants to be in the spotlight. And I think he knows by refusing to answer questions last night, he keeps himself in the spotlight.
And I think that, we as, the basketball world loves LeBron James, the free agent. Where is LeBron going to play with Bronny? And it's like, dude, he's not going anywhere. He may opt out and they may restructure or, figure out the money or whatever, but he's going to be a Laker in my opinion. And yeah, I think, you saw, I think that you saw maybe a little bit of regression out of LeBron in this series, like just missing some shots. And I mean, it's the end of the season. He's tired. Like everybody's tired, like there's no doubt, but there's no getting away from that. This guy can still be the core of your team and help you get to where you want to go. Now he's not going to take you there alone, but he can certainly lead the team. And again, that's the one big thing I see between the Lakers and the Suns that really is a defining factor. They both lose in the first round, But the difference is that the Lakers do have a leadership sort of tier or totem pole, if you will, pecking order, and the Suns don't. And I think that's part of the Bradley Beal conundrum with the Suns that the Lakers just simply don't deal with. The Suns have got to figure out who's going to be their sixth man, and it should be Bradley Beal, in my opinion. It should be Book and KD in the starting five, Beal coming off the bench for, 25, 30 minutes a night, whatever it winds up being. And that gives you huge flexibility. It's like when they put D'Lo on the bench in Lakerland, right? It gives you more flexibility. And by the way, I'm sure Bradley Beal is going to feel a little more motivated while he's pissed off coming off the bench to actually produce. And that's where I think the Suns and these teams need to figure it out. You have to figure out how to get your third option to produce. And that's why the Lakers lost this series, because they don't really have a third option. They got to define that guy.
Yeah, and I think Cam Reddish, Jared Vanderbilt, your defensive guys that you brought in being hurt and not available to you, you can't have that again. You just can't. But again, I start with the Lakers and the Suns, and I am with the Lakers and the Suns when I say Darvin Ham, you've got to make a change there. You've got to make a change in Phoenix. Mike D'Antoni, I think, is the right guy in Phoenix because you got a run and gun there, in my opinion. And I think Boot is the guy that I would hire in LA. He's 54. He's at the perfect age. Yeah. He's been a part of 5 championships, one as a head coach in Milwaukee. That's the guy I would hire.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. He's experienced. He's not going to panic. He knows what to do. He knows how to relate to players. Like, that's what I would do. And if I'm the Lakers, I do everything that I can do to go and get another proven guy. If Klay Thompson's standing in the corner, dude, you're a much better basketball team right now.
Yes.
So I would do everything that I can do to get better, to replace Vanderbilt and Cam Reddish is a disappointing one because he is a really good defensive player and he just was not available to you. And you're sitting here wondering about injuries. You can't be wondering about injuries. And I know everybody has them, but finally it wasn't Anthony Davis. And we can sit here and talk about how this series would have been different if they were healthy, but they weren't. One Eastern note that I think is interesting. How good are the Boston Celtics? Kristaps Porzingis last night, and they say it's not an Achilles injury. He has an ankle injury and a calf injury on his left leg. Come on. Like, the Boston Celtics are living and dying on Kristaps Porzingis right now. And yes, they got to win. Yes, I thought it was imperative. We talked about it on the show yesterday. In my opinion, this is not a championship team.
Yeah, I just don't think that they have the right vibe. They don't have the right, I guess, culture maybe, or they've never just had the right dynamic, and they've had different head coaches, and this tandem of Tatum and Brown, just doesn't have the goods. And I don't know how you fix that. I don't know how you overcome that, because yeah, when they're going good, they're going great. They've showed they can be a team that can play systematic offense and move the ball, and that provides them wide open look after wide open look. But somehow in the playoffs, it just changes. It absolutely changes. And unlike Denver, they don't have the ability to adapt to who they're playing and still have success. And that, to me, is the hallmark of this Boston team. That's what I will remember. Hey, these two with the surrounding cast could not figure out how to beat LeBron when they were going up against the Cavs and LeBron James led teams. You couldn't figure that out, right? Yeah. You haven't been able to really get over the hump with Miami, right? You've never really been able to put Miami to bed, permanently. Hey, we're better than you. We're not scared of you. The idea that Miami's giving you trouble in this series without Jimmy Butler is absolutely wild. About Eric Spoelstra as a head coach.
And what happens if Derek White doesn't go off last night?
Yeah, right?
With Porzingis playing 8 or 14 minutes? 14 minutes.
Yeah.
That's what worries you. And I think when you look at the rest of the way these other teams are playing, and I fully expect the Knicks to eliminate the Sixers tonight. And you've got a hell of a series going on with Cleveland and Orlando. The Pacers and the Bucks are going head to head, even though the Bucks are wounded. Clearly, I think the Knicks are the best team in the East, and it would be tough for me to pick the Celtics over the Knicks head to head.
Yeah. Well, I don't think the Celtics have an answer for Brunson. And I really don't think you have an answer for Brunson when Mitchell Robinson plays, because those two, that option for Brunson to be feeding a guy like Robinson is wild. Like, I don't know how you stop that, especially when you consider that guys like Porzingis are struggling physically and Al Horford's not keeping up with Mitchell Robinson. That ain't happening.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be very interesting to see how all this plays out, but I think you're looking at a potential changing of the guard. I don't believe LeBron is going to retire. He's playing too well. The guy is he's an ass kicker. I mean, he's tough. He plays every night. LeBron shows up every night. He's still one of the best players in the NBA. I don't think he retires.
Yeah,
I don't. I could absolutely see them drafting Bronny. No doubt about it.
I think he's still got 2 seasons left. Depending on how the Bronny thing goes, could be a third, but 2 seasons at least.
Yeah, we'll see how all that plays out. But here on April 30th, I don't believe for a second that LeBron James is done playing in the NBA.
Yeah.
I don't buy that even for a little bit.
But I will say, I'm really pleased with this NBA cycle that we're in with the playoffs. And, like, this year's playoffs have been much better than the past couple of seasons so far. Like, the Lakers Nuggets dynamic, even though the series wasn't as competitive as I think we'd all like it to be.
Though.
Really good games, right? Like, you still got game winners. Like, the Lakers had a ton of fight in them last night. And I agree with what you said. Like, the Lakers were in position to win that game, and they just, they
got beat.
Yeah, you got beat. It is what it is. And, I think that the ass kicking that the Wolves laid on the Suns, like, part of me believes that was actually really good for the league, because you can't tell me next year Durant's not going to come back with like a bit of a point to prove.
Well, it wasn't accidental that Kevin Durant said he has a lot going on off the court. I mean, that was not accidentally said. I think he is going to do a Rory McIlroy and focus on his golf game.
Yeah.
Which is to say, Kevin Durant's going to get back in the lab. I think he all but said he had lost his edge on basketball because of what he's got going on off the court. He's a business tycoon. The guy's got an unbelievable business empire.
Yeah.
And that tends to pull you away a little bit, right? He's not Devin Booker, whose whole life is dogs, cars, and playing basketball. Well, and Kardashians, but that's different. He's got other stuff going on.
Yeah.
And I think that we saw Kevin regress a little bit this year. And I think that's got to change now.
I just think he clearly was not that alpha, hey, like, it's Kevin and everybody else. That was not the dynamic. It was, to me, it felt like it was Book, then kind of everybody else, depending on the night. Some nights it was Brad.
What did we see in the elimination game out of Kevin Durant? We saw another tier. He stepped up. He's attacking the basket. That's who he's got to get back to. So we'll see. It'll be very interesting. Mike Smith first win in this morning. Mountain Mama, hello. NBA shakes up, or CBS shakes up the NFL today, moving out Boomer and Phil. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Adding Matt Ryan, hit the like button. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Very interesting. Jason Kelce going to ESPN for Monday Night Football. And then on the same day, Travis Kelce got a contract extension. So good day to be a Kelce yesterday. Good day to see Mike Smith. Pete Forte, hello. Ryan Smith's receding hairline, hello. Did you guys see the story that ESPN did on Justin Zanuck? If you did not read that story, it's on my Twitter feed, The Monty Show, Monty, The Monty Show. I don't know how you put one foot in front of the other with what that dude's got going on at home.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Hello, Jizzy. Hello, Chad Carter, who's not fourth. He's actually fifth. The Buffalo Hunter. Hello. OG Gary last. Dakota Tubbs last. Ha. That's the Gary. Okay. That Gary. Okay. That Gary. Okay. Last. Take that, Gary. Now hit the like button. Okay. Pooty not letting you type well, or are you getting Navalny? What's going on over there? Caps Lock Friday says, hey, everyone, I want to say something poetic, but can't think of anything.
Well,
okay. Go Cougs.
At least you're honest.
John, hello. Boston Mapes, hello. Mike, do not call me Mikkel Chase. Hello. Hope you have a good day. Hope the family's well. Loner phone. Morning, ladies. Typical. And to which Mount Mama says meow. Yes. Right, meow. UW fan Jim. All of our friends are in this morning.
Yeah.
All of our friends. Mr. Preston or Jimmy Otson, like 15. Mr. Preston. Hello.
What's up, bud?
Good to see you, Preston. Noel Ramirez. Hello. James.
Magic in 6. Disrespectful ass comment. What are you talking about, bro? Magic in 6.
Well, I mean, if you look at Bancaro.
Yeah, he's playing.
I mean, that dude's on his Viagra Cialis swole.
Yeah, I'm just telling you right now, Donnie knows he needs to win this series, bro. Like, you need to.
I'm a little disappointed in Donnie in this series.
Yeah, he needs to come. He needs to step up a little bit and get it going.
He is when you go 30-23, 13 in a loss, 18 in a loss, and you're shooting, I think his mean is 21% from 3 in the last 2 games, 25% from 3 in the series.
Garbo.
That's Garbo. That's because Garbo.
It's garbage.
You gotta be better than that. Now, he's averaging 4 boards and 5 dimes, and
dude, Prize Picks for tonight has him at 24.5 points.
I think you got to go. I think he is going to have a massive game 5.
Yeah, you got to go
because this game 5 will determine. Yeah, I'll go more. I'll go with you on Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com.
Wow.
It happens. PrizePicks.com. Our favorite, the best daily fantasy in the biznatch. PrizePicks.com. I like over on Donnie.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm going more on Donnie. 24.5 points tonight in the game. The one that's interesting is Brunson tonight. So
he's so difficult to prize pick with.
Couple of options on Brunson here that I think are really interesting. So straight up, just points that he's going to score tonight in this game. 34.5 seems a little high. Obviously he's capable of 50, but back-to-back games, like that seems a bit risky to me.
You got to go points, rebounds, and assists with him.
Yeah. So when you look at that number, 47.5 points, rebounds, and assists feels a lot more comfortable.
And he's hit it 3 out of his last 5. I hit it every time.
Yeah. So
yeah, I think he's that's where I would go with it.
Yeah.
Because I think he's going to have a big game. He knows it's a closeout. I think he knows you've got to end it. I think Paolo Banchero at 21.5 points is a very difficult pick. I think that's very difficult. I love what Banchero's doing, but can you count on him for 22 points? I think that is in a big game when he only had 9 last time out. I don't think you can count on him.
Yeah.
I think that's a very difficult one to predict. So I just go, the other one I love is just points and rebounds. And I think that when you look at Tyrese Maxey at 29.5, Josh Hart at 26.5 points and rebounds.
Oh, Banchero on points and rebounds as well.
Yes.
28.5.
That's better. Dante DiVincenzo, your mom.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot. I think I go Banchero 28.5 points and rebounds.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do Donovan 24.5 points more.
Yep.
Jalen mother effing Brunson 47.5 points, rebounds, and assists more. And then Paolo Banchero 28.5 points and rebounds more. And we're going to do a $25 flex play on that.
Okay.
And then we got to do a baseball one as well. My entry is also placed.
Okay.
So
good job, dude.
Pimps are going to pimp.
Nice job, dude.
Pimps are going to pimp.
Vibes feel good on those.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Big shout out to Brian Schutz, the newest member of the Monty Show.
Hey, Brian, what do you shoot, bro?
Why can you not everything is sexual on this show?
What?
Grow up.
That wasn't sexual. Me?
You and I both know the truth is the truth.
What?
Make sure you join our membership. You know, we have 2 tiers of membership right here on the Monty program.
Hey, Monty.
You can become an entry-level membership for $2 a month, which gets all your comments highlighted and read. You will notice that if you are a non-member, it's very difficult for us to read your comments because we do get thousands of comments a day. So join the membership at $1.99. All your comments get read. Also at $10 a month, you get into our members-only Instagram group, which is fantastic. Whether it's basketball, football, college football, all that goodness every single day in the members-only chat on Instagram. Join at the members-only level. Hit Jake on Instagram, SLC Jake. He'll add you to the chats. So, hey, Brian Schutz, we appreciate you being a member of the program. Dak at a Tubbs, it'll be really nice to see the NBA Finals back in the Garden. Okay.
I mean, I do think this is the best chance of that happening we've had in quite some time.
I would agree. All pro sports are scripted. New York in the finals will make league and network executives happy. I think it would. No doubt about it. Bobby Fowler, morning, guys. Mitchell Robinson is hurt too, but he's always hurt.
Yeah, it's always availability.
Yeah. LeBron is on steroids.
Oh, okay.
That must be it.
That's it.
That must be it. Loner phone. Been a long, hard struggle under Dolan. The scandals, the ineptitude can all be forgiven with a championship. Yeah, then maybe he sells a
facial
team.
recognition.